Hey everyone, we're just waiting for some other people to join and we'll start shortly here. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get started? First of all, thanks everyone for joining us today. We are so excited to talk to you about our February launch of Vasion Automate. My name is Sue Caniglia. I'm a director here of product at Vasion, and I'm joined with Eric Judd. He's a senior marketing manager. Today, we're going to introduce you to Vasion Automate. Then Eric will perform a demo. We'll do a Q&A session, and we'll be joined by our product manager, Justin Arnold, who's joining us. And we'll be happy to answer any questions. So we're just excited to introduce you to the newest capabilities that you're going to soon have access to. What is Vasion Automate? Well, here at Vasion, we want to enable our customers to digitize and automate your everyday processes. And Vasion Automate combines print and digital processes to streamline systems and boost efficiency. And we do this with products like Capture. So if you think about simplified scanning, and forms, think about e-forms, like web forms or PDF forms, through Signature and workflow capabilities, as well as content management and the print solutions you have today that drive you some value and make your job easier. So what does that look like? What's new? What's it going to be like when you come in and log in at our launch date in February? Well, first of all, let me assure you that your experience as an IT admin in the admin console will be the same. Nothing is changing, although you will have a navigation rail along the left side that will introduce you to all these new capabilities and products. Everything within the admin console stays the same, so you have access to that. And there's no change to your end users at all. So this should be an easy transition for you. So what kind of problems are we solving? You're probably used to having lots of systems that help you through your workflow processes. They may be siloed and disconnected, and workflows can become tedious and actually waste time as you're trying to learn all these applications. But it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time. So you're looking for efficiency. You're looking for ease of use. Those poorly connected systems fail to create that seamless experience that you get in one overall application. And as you're trying to learn all these different applications and navigate them, confusion grows and costs begin to creep up as well. All of this results in wasted time and money. 30 hours a month per employee are lost due to lack of automation. And 70% of businesses believe that automation is necessary to have those really effective teams. 90% of employees are burdened with those repetitive and manual tasks. So why not make it easier by using Vasion Automate? Vasion connects your company, boosting efficiency by reducing time spent on those repetitive and manual tasks. It's designed to be easy to use. It's bridging the print and digital worlds, and it's driving savings for you. We're starting out by focusing on you, the IT admin. And the idea is that we want to help you through your processes that you do every day. Things like onboarding and offboarding users and filling out and completing those hardware and software requests, as well as those customer support and employee tickets. So starting with you and helping you become evangelists that you can spread the use of this application throughout your company. So with Vasion Automate, it's all going to start through opting in. So when you receive this modal, it'll ask you if you want to opt in to get our refreshed login experience. Once you choose to opt in, it'll log you off. And the next time you log in, you'll have the new login page. And this is a unified login page that allows you access to both the Vasion Automate product as well as print. And as I mentioned before, print is now within Vasion Automate. And then once you log in, you'll have this new experience with that left navigation to access those new capabilities. We've rebranded Printer Logic as Vasion Print, so you'll see some updated look and feel in the header of the name that you're used to. So that's all it takes, and then you'll have access to these new products. We're going to have Eric go ahead and walk us through a quick demo so you can see what capabilities you'll have access to. Eric, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll allow you to share.
All right. Thanks, Sue. Appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and show Vasion Automate. So jumping in here, you're able to see once you opt in, this should look pretty familiar to everybody. This is what we know as Printer Logic. And you'll notice all the same functionality and capabilities are present that you're used to. When you come in here, you can drop down, use the drop down to find printers and so forth. And just like Sue said, everything is the same, but there's a few additional capabilities that can be accessed. And we see those here on the left, these icons: forms, signature, workflow, print, like what we know with Printer Logic, and then an admin capability. And what I want to go through today is introduce the forms field on how we create forms to gather and capture data, and then workflow and how we put together a business process to move that data to individuals to review or to do things with, to store that data, and so forth. So when you log in, we land here with Vasion Print. But I'm going to move over and click on this icon in the top left, which you'll be able to do when you opt in. This is the forms icon. And this is where we create online forms to capture data. There's two ways to do that. The first is by uploading a PDF form. So if I were to come over here to this new form icon in the top right-hand corner, I could click on that, click on PDF, and then I'd have the opportunity to upload a PDF form. And from there, I could use easy drag and drop capability to put fields on top of that PDF, such as name, number, date, a big open text field, multiple select, single select, pick lists, and even signatures. You can put those all right on top of an existing PDF. Or if I choose to start from scratch, I can go to the web form and from scratch, very easily with simple drag and drop capabilities, build out a form. I built a form from scratch yesterday. It took me about 5 minutes. I want to show you that form real quick. It is this new hire onboarding form, which will allow us to show how Vasion Automate could be used to streamline the onboarding of new employees. So this form is already created. I'm going to come in here and click preview. And we will notice, here we go. So on preview, this took me literally 5 minutes to create. I uploaded a logo at the top. I put a field for some text, new hire onboarding form. I inserted fields, first name, last name, created a pick list, and very easily put in department names for where a new hire would go, which laptop they would need, and so forth. Put in a start date, added a submit, and that was a really easy process to do. It's something that anyone could jump in and do on their own with very little training. So the goal with this was to create uh, a, a form uh, a form creator that anyone could use. And that's what we're providing here. As I back out of that, so the way that forms are used and sent out to gather data, we can provide a URL to access that, or we can include a form in a workflow. So I click here on the workflow button, and we will see a number of workflow templates that I've already created that can be utilized. And we have a workflow template that exists now for the onboarding process of a new employee. I'd like to show you the outline of that workflow real quick and then walk you through how that process would work with emails being delivered to participants in the workflow that would trigger them and automate their involvement in a workflow utilizing a form that we created previously. So if I come in here to this workflow template called Customer Demo New Hire Onboarding, it's already been published and created. I'm going to come in here and just preview it real quick before I actually kick it off. But this is what it looks like, and you'll see multiple steps. It's really easy to add additional steps to a workflow as it's being originally designed. But you'll see here, the workflow needs to be manually started. So I'll go ahead, and when it's time to start this workflow, I'll hit the run button. But then the first part of this workflow, an email is delivered to Eric Judd. That's the assigned individual. And in that email is a link for them to fill out that form that you saw previously to gather the details necessary to onboard a new employee. So you can imagine a new employee has a hiring manager. That hiring manager knows all the details that need to be gathered to get that employee ready to go on day one. So we would send that form to the hiring manager so that the IT team can be informed as to what they need to do for getting things together for an employee on their first day. So that's the first step, is getting that form delivered. The second step, we want to have someone review those details, make sure they're accurate. Perhaps that would be someone in finance who's approving a budget, or maybe it's an IT leader who needs to make sure, yeah, we have these materials, this laptop is ready to go, we can go ahead and proceed. You can imagine a use case there where someone needs to review and approve. And then, we have additional steps where the last step there, you see sign up form. That would be for the new employee. We need them to sign up for a few things on their first day. So it's really easy to build out a form. Again, this is drag and drop capabilities. You can assign individuals from a pick list and search, and very easily design things there. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this workflow preview and show you what it's like to actually start a workflow. So we're utilizing forms we created previously. We ordered them in a process known as a workflow. I come in here, and rather than going preview like what we just did, I could share it with other people I collaborate with within Automate. So you can share that and and change editing privileges and so forth. But I'm just going to click on Start Workflow. So when I click on Start Workflow, an email is delivered to the first individual designated in the workflow. Excuse me. When I click, Start Workflow, that's how we begin the run. If I come over here now to my email, I will see the first email I receive, action required. Eric Judd has requested you to fill out the new hire onboarding form. So that's the email that was delivered to my inbox. I click on that. It says, Eric Judd sent you a form. You can imagine it would say, it would then say, hello, Abby, or hello, Sue, the person who the form has been assigned to. You've been sent a form, the new hire onboarding form, to fill out and submit. So there's this purple button, go to form. Click on that. And just like the preview we saw previously within Vasion Automate, we now see this form displayed here. I'm looking at it. Imagine me being a hiring manager who has this information. I'm going to insert our new employee, Abby Smith. What department is she going to be in? She's going to be in marketing. I think a MacBook Air is going to meet those needs. Include Apple Monitor, definitely. Her start date, February 1. Okay, very cool. So super easy process there, clean form. I'm going to submit that information. Form complete. And then the person who just filled out the form, they'll receive an email confirmation showing that they had submitted that. But now the workflow needs to go to step 2. So where do we go from here? The person that step 2 had been assigned to would now receive an email asking them to complete their part of the workflow. So sequentially, we move on to step 2, go back to the email folder, and we see this email is here, action required. So I click on that new email that has appeared. It says, Eric Judd sent you an item to review. Because we want to make sure this information is correct, there's no errors, and that we have everything set up to be able to execute on it. So I'm going to go to approval. And this will take me to automate, where I can see the form that was filled out previously. I'm going to log in. I'm going to zoom in here. First name, Abby Smith. Yep, that's the right person. In marketing, I can review. Yeah, we have these hardware available. There's software that needs to be allocated. I can confirm, yeah, those things are available, etc. And I can have that done by February 1st. Very cool. If you look in the top right now, it says details. I can either approve or reject this form. Hello, IT leader. Please review and then approve or reject these onboarding details. They look good to me. I'm going to go ahead and hit approve. Okay. And then it goes on to the third step and so forth until the workflow is complete. We can then jump back into Vasion Automate, and we'll see here we come to completed workflows. New hire, no problem. Absolutely. It took me 5 minutes for the duration of that workflow, and we're good to go. Okay, that's a quick intro to some of the really cool capabilities of Vasion Automate. The use case that's available to you. I imagine you can begin to see some of the processes that you work on in your day-to-day that could be set up with a really easy automation to gather the right data from the right people, wherever they may be throughout your organization or from a third party, and to get those data moving to the right people. Okay.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. And we'll go ahead and open up to Q&A now. We've already got several questions that are posted in the chat, but if you have any other questions, just open the Zoom chat and go ahead and type your question. Again, we have a panelist with us, product manager Justin Arnold. We also have a technical director over product engineering, Simon Esposito, and he's joining us as well as a panelist in case you have any technical questions. So Justin, why don't we have you answer the first one? And it's when you opt in to the new login experience, is that global within my environment, or is it user or computer specific?
Yeah, thanks, Sue. Great question. So the opt-in will be a global setting for the instance, and it's not computer specific. So when you opt in, that login will be available just on the admin console for all future logins.
And then the
An
next
important-
one is very similar. So once one person at an organization chooses to switch to opt in, the entire instance will be opted in.
That's
Do you want
correct.
to
Yep.
explain more about that, Justin, and how that process works?
Yep. So the opt-in modal that you saw demonstrated today will only be visible to Vasion Print, formerly known as Printer Logic, admins. So non-administrator users will not see this when they log into the admin console. So your deploy managers, your help desk associates. So just the administrator users will be able to execute the opt-in.
Great. Thank you, Justin. Another question that came in, can you clarify our users will or will not have access to create forms in users? Is this admin only? So everything you see that we showed you is within the admin consoles that your end users don't have access to. So those users that are printing things, unless they're an administrator accessing the admin console, they won't have access to it. The other thing I should mention is that you have access to these tools as an administrator. You'll actually have the ability to have 5 named creator users and 2,500 completed workflows as part of the core product. So again, the core product includes things like capture, forms, signature, workflow, any content management that's happening on the back end, and then your print solution that you're used to today. So again, 5 creator users, 2,500 completed workflows. We'll be monitoring that. So if, for example, you need more, you can reach out to your account rep and they consult with them and they'll help navigate you through purchasing additional. We have another question here. Can we hide or restrict access to all the new features until we're ready to use them? So as an administrator, all administrators will see these features. If they are an administrator, they will have access to the features. If they're a non-administrator in your admin console, they will see them, but they will require permissions to be assigned. How about the next one? Can workflow assignees be triggered off of form field selections? Like if it's a department X, Jane Doe gets the email, but if it's department Y, John Deere gets it. At this time, we don't have that capability, but we are working on that as one of the next features that will come along. And we'll be continuously building onto the application to bring you the most value that you need in order to automate your workflows and your processes. Justin, maybe you want to answer this one. Can you customize the emails that the workflow generates?
So at the current time, they are standard out of the box templates, but that is on the roadmap.
Great, thank you. And is all this included in the current licensing? Yes. So the whole idea behind this is we want to make this easy and accessible for you so you can begin using the products on day one. This is included up to 5 creators, 2,500 completed workflows. And if you need more, you can just contact your account rep. Justin, maybe you can help answer what happens if you choose not to opt in at this time and want to do that later.
Sure. Yeah. So the modal that you're presented in the admin console has an option to click Not Now. And if you do that, you will be prompted at your next login event again. So you can continue to delay as long as you need to get the opt-in. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Is there any way to automate printer creation? No, at this time we don't have. I see what you're asking. I believe what you're asking is the ability to be able to add a printer into your areas. We don't have that capability today. But again, as we begin bringing these 2 applications together, we'll certainly look at that further. Is our licensing model changing to user-based, or is it still device-based? The licensing for the printer side remains to be device-based. So it'll be kind of a hybrid type of licensing as we move forward. And your account rep can share more information about that as we move into that, as we begin launching. What kind of form fields are available for these forms? You actually have some real flexibility there to a lot of different form fields. So there's things like being able to do a text field or a text area, being able to set up drop lists or radio buttons to use. You even have the ability, and I think Eric showed this, of dragging a signature into the form so that you can require signatures. There's also the ability to do date fields and things like that. So it has a lot of very different fields that you can use that make the tool flexible. Can forms be used on an MFP for indexing a document that a user is scanning? So I don't know, Simon, if you want to take that one.
It's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. Are they asking if they can use it to add a field to the document that's been scanned? So, but
That's what it looks like, yes.
Okay. I don't think we have that capability yet, but as Sue mentioned, we have a long history of continuous delivery with printer logic, and Vasion Automate is the same thing. So we'll be continuing to add functionality. And I think that scanning is going to continue to become more robust, but I don't think that's a launch capability that we have currently, no.
And we always look forward to getting customer feedback as well. We'll be meeting with our account reps as well as customers to find out what feedback you have around the products. So anxious to hear more from you as a customer. Will you be sharing this recording? I believe we will be. So we will definitely make that available to you. We are a Printer Logic client. Do we automatically get these new features, or do we need to subscribe, and is there an associated cost? So just as a reminder, once you opt in and you receive the new interface, you, as an admin in the admin console, you will have access to these new features. No need to subscribe, and you'll be able to give permissions to non-administrators if needed. This is, again, just for the admin console. It doesn't impact your end users. And there's only additional cost, excuse me, if you happen to exceed the 5 users or the 2,500 completed workflows. Our account rep will contact you in that case, and you can have discussions with them.
And I would add to that, Sue, when you say the 5 users, you mean the 5 creators that have been made. So there's a ton of users you can assign this out to in a workflow or in a form or wherever, and much more than 5 at no cost. But it's the 5 creators of forms and workflows.
Thanks, Eric. Great clarification. How does the automation capabilities compare with Power Automate or Power Apps? Eric, do you have the information on that one that you can share?
I'm not too familiar with Power Automate or those apps.
I can add to that a little bit. So I would say Power Automate obviously is a very significant player in the automation space and is heavily focused on enterprise scale. I think we do compete in that space, and we'll continue to grow our capabilities there. And I'll turn back to Eric to talk about maybe the users that we're targeting and the types of capabilities and automation we're pursuing.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Simon. At this time, what we really want to do is make this available to the IT and system admin user for what they're looking to accomplish. And to build this as an extension to what we're already doing with Printer Logic, which will in the future be known as Vasion Print. and look for the opportunity to bridge those two worlds and combine them together. And this is just a first step in that direction where we can focus on some automations and gathering data in a straightforward manner.
Yeah, I
Great.
think that's a great answer. And as Printer Logic customers, you're very familiar with our unique capabilities in the print space. And as we combine that with automation, we're obviously creating a unique opportunity for automation that I don't think anybody else can necessarily replicate.
Great. Thanks, guys. Regarding the signature feature set, is it designed to compete with DocuSign? Well, let's face it, DocuSign has been out in the market and is a powerhouse in that space and has been for some time. We're not set out to directly compete with DocuSign. What our goal is to provide you with applications that are simple and easy to use and that you can work within your automation processes. We do provide them at a efficient cost. So ideally, I would not say that we're out to create everything that DocuSign has and be in direct competition from that standpoint. We're looking at workflow processes as a whole, and we know that signing things is very important. So we've included a simple tool there as well. We'll continue to expand on that tool as well as we see what customers' needs are and the problems that we need to be addressing. So can the form, signature, and workflow be disabled? Justin, do you want to answer that one?
Sure, Sue. So the forms, signature, and workflow, if you have any questions, you should really touch base with your CSM or AE specifically about your needs. But functionally, you can abstain from opting in on those until you're ready, and then have that conversation.
In addition, while they can't be disabled, you do have permissions, so you can determine who those creator users are that would be able to utilize the application and the different products. Does this translate to the MSP portal as well? So the MSP portal is where we actually help create some of those instances and give service providers access to their customer instances. Your customers are included. They will have this functionality available to them as well. Will there be a forced opt-in at some point? In all honesty, I think at some point there may be, but we haven't determined what that point is yet. And we'll be sure that you have that information available to you so it won't be a surprise. What is the date that the opt-in will appear? We're actually doing this in some phases. So we've already started showing the opt-in to some customers, and we'll continue to phase that in as we begin to show to all customers. Is this feature called Vasion Automate? And is this included with our Printer Logic, or is there a new cost for these features? So I think I've answered that before, but just to, in case you didn't catch it, the application is called Vasion Automate, and Vasion Print, formerly Printer Logic, is now part of Vasion Automate overall product. So it's included as part of what you have today once you opt in, and you get 5 creator users as well as 2,500 completed workflows. If you need more than that, you can reach out to your account executive at that time and they'll help get you more. So we are an MSP and use the Printer Cloud MSP portal to log into our clients. So how do these changes affect us? If you're servicing your customer, these will be available to your direct customers. And So again, they will have the option to opt in as well.
I just wanted to add to that. I think, sorry, my video is dead there. I think the question might have also been referring to how they log into their customers. So the MSP login to serve as a customer is a different login and would remain unchanged. I'll just throw that out there. So
That's
if
a
that's
great
what you
point.
were asking, Eric.
Okay. I understand that non-admins will not have access to forms, signature, and workflow. As a main administrator, can I disable access for others that have admin access? Yes, there will be some training that will be provided to customers later on, and you can, these are permission-based. So you can determine who those creator users are that will be able to do this, to use this functionality. Do you have other examples of more detailed or other typical business workflows or templates? So as far as our initial focus, we're really looking at the IT administrator. We're going for those people that are typically already within the printer logic or Vasion print world. And so we're looking at those types of processes. We'd love to talk to you more and hear more about some of the processes you may be interested in automating or you're doing today. You can feel free to reach out to us and we can coordinate with you more to understand what processes you might be thinking about. As Eric pointed out, the workflows are around, the steps today are around forms. They're around getting approvals, but we continue to expand in that area as well.
Yeah.
I'll also mention, oh, go ahead.
I would add two things. I mean, a number of different use cases on the IT side, whether it's hardware, software requisition, gathering feedback, getting approvals. But if you have instances or want to talk through use cases or share how you see this being impactful, either reach out to your sales representative or send me an email directly. I'll send you a Calendly link. Let's get something on the books. I'd love to chat with you. And my email is just eric.judd@vasion.com. So I'm totally available and would love to have a conversation. Just let me know.
Great. Thanks, Eric. What's the time frame for the 2,500 completed workflows? That's actually an annual time frame, and we will be keeping an eye on it for you so you don't have to track it, and we'll reach out to you if we feel like you're exceeding that and we need to have some conversations. Can you create a file repository for end users to fill out forms and submit to other users? We don't have that capability yet, but I will tell you that you have the capability within the form creation tool to be able to copy a URL to the form. You could post that on your website. You could do it as a manual email if you don't want it to be part of the workflow process, so that it could be rolled out more widely if needed. Next question, is it possible to get the data from the filled out forms exported to a usable format? Simon, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, sorry, just scrolling here. Can you repeat that one too? My apologies.
Sure. Is it possible to get the data from the filled out forms exportable to a usable format?
Right. So the data is maintained as the fields are in a structure that can be exportable. I don't believe we have form export initially. So Eric, if you know otherwise, you can correct me, but it's certainly something that can be built into the system, and that data is maintained in a secure and encrypted way. So we certainly would be able to build an export capability on top of that.
Yeah. And actually, I believe in the in the workflow tool, there is an area where, in the form tool, there's an area where you can see the results. They'll display in a table, and there is an export button
Right.
available for that.
On an individual workflow execution, I'm not sure if they meant for
Yeah.
all people that fill out that form in one large file.
Right,
So it
right.
would depend on the use case that you're referring to. So
Are screenshots of the new admin portal available? This was an anonymous person. I don't know, Eric, do we have anything on the website yet that maybe shows what that new screen looks like? Maybe you know.
For the admin portal, I don't believe there are any screenshots on the website.
Okay, if you need something, you can again reach out to Eric and we can get some screenshots to you if you need that. Does the printer logic agent, which we are already using, stay the same, or will there be an update? Simon, do you want to take that one?
yeah, absolutely. So the agents or the workstation clients, we also have mobile clients, they would remain unchanged. So no update for them, no need to push an update to the clients.
Great. And then the next couple questions are all around integration to other tools. So the initial release that we do does not have integration to other products, but it's definitely a big part of our roadmap. We'll be talking to customers to understand what applications are important to use so that we can focus on the most important and the widely used ones. We hope to make the process of integration very simple for our users. So just know that we are looking further into this as part of our roadmap. Are there any plans to support print to fax drivers? Simon, do you want to take that one?
I'm not aware of that. So I don't have an answer for that person. I think that's a good example of the kind of feature feedback we can gather from our customers and speak with the product managers over that feature set.
For customers who already have an enterprise form or workflow management tool, what would you say to have us consider this new function? I'll speak, and then if anyone on the panel wants to add more. From my perspective, number one, I would say that the nice thing about this is it's easy to use. Obviously, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that maybe some of the tools you have today do, but we are expanding and we're expanding at a quick pace. Ideally, the concept that we have here is that you don't have to purchase professional services to have someone create things for you. We're trying to give a really nice, easy to use interface that answers some of the needs of our customers. And in addition, in the future, as I said, we will have integration. So we don't want to necessarily rule out that you wouldn't necessarily be able to integrate to a form tool or some other application. Anyone want to add any other comments around that? Okay. Will we get a specific time and date when we need to select opt-in? Yes, we will let you know when that time frame will be coming, and we'll let you know ahead of time so you're not surprised. Do approvers have to be admins? No, they don't. You have the ability for users, end users, as part of your workflow to be other people within your organization. The whole idea is that we want to make the workflow possible to work for you and throughout the organization as well. Can you also show the signature feature? Did you have signature within, let me see, do a time check here.
Yeah, time check.
So how long were we scheduled for this webinar?
We were going to go to close to the top of the hour.
Okay. Did you bring a signature into that form?
I could share screen real quick and show that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So here is the form builder. We saw this earlier, but this is slightly different in that you have all the different types of components where if I wanted to add a field to a form that I'm actively building, I can do that. Here is a signature tool, and I can drag that over right here, add it to a form. And then if I wanted to preview that form, come in here, and on the signature piece, I can either draw my signature or come in and type it and hit sign. And that's what the experience will be like for the end user when they're adding their signature. They can also upload a signature from file.
Great. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
One of the things we didn't mention is that if you need extended capabilities, things that help with more complex workflows, we do have another product called Vasion Automate Pro. And again, you can talk to your account executive if you need additional features that Vasion Automate may not have yet today. Can a form dynamically be generated for the user to fill out? So for example, if a list of items is needed on the form, but the number of items varies, can that form prompt the user if more items need to be added and additional fields be displayed? So I believe there is some limitation, but it also depends on how you set the form up, what type of field and object you're using as part of that form. As far as like how dynamic it can actually be. We're happy to confer with you more if you have a specific use case that we need to cover.
And Sue, I would just add to that they're continuing to expand the types of form controls that we can have, some of which are of the type that I think that person is describing. So if it's not in the list of types of form objects you can add, that list will continue to grow over time. So
Great.
Certainly we will be able to handle all different types of inputs to forms.
Thank you. Are the 5 creator users, in addition to admins, being able to make forms and workflows, or 5 total creator users? So as part of the core product, it comes with 5 creator users. What we're doing for the initial rollout is anyone that's an administrator, not a non-administrator, but an administrator, will have access to be a creator. So if you need to make adjustments, if you have more than 5 administrators, you can make adjustments to those permissions as needed. If you need more than 5 creator users, just reach out to your account rep and they can help you with that. For the first 2,500 workflows, are you referring to each time the workflow is used or created? So for example, if we use one workflow 2,500 times until we are contacted to upgrade our license, we're actually basing it on completed workflows. So it would be each time that workflow is run and you have a completion for that workflow. I hope that answers your question. And anyone want to add any other details around that?
I would just say it is not 2,500 unique templates. It's one template or 2 or 3, however many templates, and then all of those, the cumulative number of times those are run.
Thank you. Is there a test console we could log in to look at these new features before we opt in? Certainly, we're happy to have a conversation with you and even give you a deeper dive demo if needed. You can just reach out to Eric Judd or your account executive, and we'll arrange whatever's needed to provide you with more information or a more detailed demo. Provide me a scenario on how we would use the document signature capability. Simon, you want to take that one?
Sure, thanks, Sue. I think even the example that Eric was giving at the beginning about onboarding an employee would be a good example. So you might have a workflow where part of that includes them signing their contract, for instance, when they come aboard the company, or even a group of employees. And so you would send that out. And the signing would just be a step within that workflow where it would send out to them. They would click in the email they receive, sign the form. That received signature could then go to your HR department for approval to make sure they've filled out the form correctly, have all the information, and even send them the signed copy at the end. So I think that's a straightforward example right from our demo.
Thank you. And Simon, the next one's around data security, asking about, does any of the data travel through or get stored at Vasion? This is from a healthcare customer. Can you talk to that a little bit more? Did we lose Simon? We might have lost Simon.
We might have lost his screen.
Okay, we'll come back to that. When is go live for this? We're actually launching February 6th, but this is available in GA today. If this is something you want to opt into, you can contact us. We can make sure that we enable it for you sooner rather than later. What keeps the workflow from stopping on someone that ignores the first email? So that's a good point. We are working on more visuals as well in the future to be able to provide dashboards and reporting information. So you do have the ability, I believe, to resend if you need to. But it is possible that it could stop at someone on that first email. Simon, looks like you're back with us. Do you want to talk a little bit about data security and how the data travels through and is stored in Vasion? Or maybe he's still not
We
with
might have
us.
lost him again.
Okay, looks
I
like
think he
Simon's
rejoined and
having
got
some
lost.
connectivity problems. Okay. So yeah, happy to answer that. Oh, there
Sorry,
you are.
I'm not sure what's going on, but I keep getting
Okay.
kicked from the Zoom. But I'm trying to answer the question, and I thought I had a decent answer too. So to answer that original question from the healthcare provider, our data is encrypted and maintained, and it would be AWS or Azure infrastructure by region within the Vasion Automate platform. It's encrypted all the way through and at rest. For customers with specific concerns where they don't want it to leave their system, Sue mentioned earlier that we have Automate Pro, and that's much more configurable in terms of where your data would live. And so you'd want to work with your account representatives, et cetera, to figure out which solution is right for you.
Okay, well,
And just
hopefully that-
another quick note too,
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions, they can log onto our website, trust.vasion.com, to learn more about these policies and details.
Great. That's a great, great thing to point them to. Thank you. And I think we're on our last question. In the example of an onboarding form, where would this workflow be initiated? Could it be reachable or launchable from within our IT ticketing app? So right now you would have to go into the Vasion app to launch that and initiate that workflow. However, again, we'd love to talk to you more, Angel, and find out how you envision your workflow processes working, what kind of needs you have, so we can understand if there's something that maybe we need to integrate to or keep in mind for future roadmap. I think that's all the questions we have. Great. Thank you so much for your participation. We are really looking forward to the launch of this on February 6th. And again, if you receive as you log into the admin console, if you receive that opt-in, please choose the opt-in so you can have easy access to this as soon as possible. We're all excited about the capabilities that these products will offer our current print customers, and look forward to talking to you more about this in the coming months. So thanks for joining our webinar.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.